Something you got, baby, make me work on.
Hey everyone, this is Diana, and today we're going to be talking about the blog post I published a few days ago, and that was titled Easy Steps to Making a Tough Decision. And in this blog post, we talked about a few tips on how to make a tough decision or a tough call, and the what has worked for me. So, a lot of times it's not even about choosing between a good idea and a bad idea. Sometimes it's actually choosing between two or more seemingly good ideas. So the first tip that I shared was consider your values. And again, I talked a little bit why that's important, what values would be. And then I shared an example of what my personal values are. And then the other one was to trust your intuition. And again, we talked a little bit about why it's important to not only listen to your gut feeling, but also your logical rationalizations. And so together that could form very powerful tool to help you decide on what to do. And then the third one was, if you are saying yes to this situation or this thing or this idea, what are you saying no to? So considering different aspects of a situation. So the next tip that I wanted to share with you guys, we're actually gonna do an example on the board. And this is a really easy tool to use, and it's very useful to put into practice for when you do have those tough choices in life. It's super simple, so all you need is this white sheet of paper and then a pencil or pen. And then you're gonna fold it in half and then in half again. That way you have four squares, okay? So we're gonna make the four squares. So this is gonna be called the expense versus benefit model. And then in this exercise, we're going to be looking at your present situation and then your potential situation. Right here on the left hand quadrant, you're going to ask the question, what is the expense or the cost to stay in this present situation? In this right hand corner one, we're going to ask how do you benefit from your current situation? In this quadrant, we're going to ask what sacrifices or what expenses must be paid to make this decision. And then at the bottom right hand corner, we're going to ask what are the benefits of making this decision? So there you have your four quadrants. We're going to start with this first quadrant. Okay, so be very specific about what your expenses could be to stay in this current situation. So for example, for me, I recently had a friend of mine offer me a job at his office, and so I had to really decide, should I take this job, because there was reasons to take the job, which we'll talk about here, or should I not take the job? And then there was also reasons why I thought I shouldn't take the job. So I was very conflicted, and it was a very tough decision for me. So what I did was I actually did this exercise, and it really helped me get clear and understand where my priorities were. So the first one was, what is the expense to stay in this present situation? Think about what you're not happy with, what you could be losing to stay in the current situation. So for me, it was obviously financially, it's very difficult. So financially, it's very difficult because my husband is the only one who is making a steady income right now. Another thing is that I don't get a lot of adult interaction, or so I'm gonna put socialization. So that's difficult sometimes because although I am an introvert and I do like being at home, it's also sometimes difficult to just be around little kids 24/7. So sometimes you need some of that adult interaction. Another one that I thought about was not feeling productive. And that was difficult because I've been working since I was 15 years old. So being at home for the last couple of years has at times been very difficult because I don't feel like I'm being productive with my day. A lot of times I feel like, oh man, what did I do today? All I did was clean, or all I did was take care of sick kids, or I didn't make something or put in 8 hours that where I was able to clock it in or anything. So that's difficult sometimes. It's kind of part of the financial strain, but I feel like I'm not putting my part, so pulling my weight. Again, as an independent woman, it's difficult sometimes to feel like I'm not contributing to the household. I'm not bringing any money in, and that's really tough sometimes when you are used to always being part of your financial goals, a success. So that is difficult. So we're gonna move on to how do you benefit from your current situation, and for me, it was I benefit from my current situation so that I have freedom. Why do I have freedom? Because I don't have a 9 to 5 job where I have to clock in. I don't have a boss to report to. So, I have freedom. I make my own schedule. I don't have a boss, and then I'm able to focus on my career. I'm able to grow my coaching career, and that's a great benefit of being a stay-at-home mom and being able to work on your self-employed business. Whereas if I had a 9 to 5 job, I'm sure that I would be able to do it still, but it would be a lot more difficult to find time and schedule in clients at different times and when I'm not at work, and then on top of that, fitting it in with taking care of my family, etc. I would say I benefit from it because I save money. I save money because I don't have to spend money on going to work, gas, lunch, clothes for work. I'm also saving on, car maintenance because I don't really go out that much. I'm primarily based online, so it's a great benefit. I am an online business, and there's very low overhead on online businesses. I pay a little bit to run my website, I get some of the supplies that I need for making videos or blog posts, but for the most part, it's very low cost. So I'm able to run my online business by staying in my situation. So we're gonna move on to what my potential or my future situation could be if I did take the job. I'm gonna have to get used to a new schedule. I'll have a 9 to 5 or whatever amount of hours that are set for me. I'm gonna have to adhere to the schedule, and I won't really be able to make my own. Learning a new work environment. Getting used to again going into a new office, understanding how this team works, incorporating into the team, making sure that I'm showing up genuinely, and that people start trusting me if I'm going to be managing them, because you don't want to just I don't want to just be like a manager that is just for titles. So I really want them to trust me, and I want to be there to support them. Oh, what's another sacrifice? I probably won't have the time, um, not enough time to dedicate to my business. And this is huge for me because I really feel like life coaching is my calling, and I love doing it. Every time I coach somebody or somebody coaches me, I mean, it's a great experience. I really enjoy it, and it allows me to do other things that I also highly enjoy, like writing. Writing is like one of my uh, dream professions, that since I was a little girl, I wanted to be a writer. So being a life coach really enables me to do that, because I'm able to write blog posts, I'm able to write content for my Instagram, for my website, etc. And so for me, that's invaluable. So this one especially is very, very important. So what are the benefits of making this decision? I guess I would have more money, more like, more leisure, more leisure money, because although we're fairly tight, um, we're able to pay the bills. So this would be more like, oh, we have money to go on an extra vacation, or we have more money to spend on the weekend on, eating out and going to places with the kids and stuff like that. So, I mean, that would be nice, but it's not like a necessity. Management experience. And I've only been in management for a few years, so obviously having more of that management experience would be extremely helpful to me, and I'm sure I would learn a lot. Being hands-on is a great way to learn, and a great way to grow from, knowing what you need, what your areas of opportunities are, and also knowing what your strengths are. So that would be a good thing. I'd be helping out a friend, you know, helping friend. And that's really nice, because I do pride myself on being a good friend, and I consider myself a good friend. So that would be, a really good thing for me. I would feel good about myself, because I'm like, hey, I'm helping them out. They asked me if I was able to do this for them, and I was able to do it. So we're gonna look over our chart and pick out what stands out for you. So I think for me, what stands out is the financial strain. A lot of times, I get stressed out because I'm like, hey, wow, we're really tight this month or whatever. So that's never good. I put a lot of emphasis, and I really care about not being stressed out, and trying to keep my stress levels low so that I can stay healthy, etc. And then we're going to go to this one. So this one we're going to mark number 2. So what are the benefits of making this decision? What stands out for me? I guess, again, because for me, the financial strain is like kind of a big one. I'm going to put right here, have more money. But again, it's like, have more money, but it's just, is it really that important? I don't know. We'll see. How would I benefit from staying in my current situation? So again, for me, the huge one would be that I'm able to focus and work on my career, that I've invested a lot of money and time and energy in, and that I really feel passionate about. That's a huge one for me, is that freedom. So both of them is that freedom of the schedule, and then again, being able to focus on my career. And then number 4, or what sacrifices must be made and what expenses must be paid. So for me, again, not enough time. That's the one. Not enough time. And not only like not enough time, but it's like I made the investment of getting certified as a professional coach. It would be very inauthentic of me to go into a different job that has nothing really to do with life coaching. I mean, I'm sure if there was a way that I could work in coaching with my employees, but that wouldn't be my focus, you know. And so for me, it's not just about the time that I have to dedicate it, but that I'm going to be doing primarily as my job. And ultimately, you know, this is what I want to do. And so this for me was really the tipping point. You know, being authentic. Again, I thought about my values as I spoke in my in my post. I really thought about my values. I did all of those steps when it came to making this really tough decision recently. And this one was like a great visual for me because a lot of times I am a very visual person, like most of us are. So for me, in order to do this, I had to write it out. And when I write things out, I'm able to gather my thoughts. And it was so helpful because it wasn't just scrambled thoughts in my mind where I couldn't even really make sense of what I was trying to tell myself, you know. So when I wrote it down, it was so helpful and I was able to make the right decision for me. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. You know, hopefully this helps you guys too. Let me know if you try this out and tell me how it went. So I just want to thank you guys for being with me today, and I wish you guys the best. Talk to you later. Bye bye.
Something you got, baby. You make me